Welcome back to the channel where we tear down the illusions of the toxic psyche and expose the ruthless truth behind the mask. Today we're re-examining the invoice, the final bill sitting quietly on the kitchen table of every aging somatic narcissist. Decades. For they lived as if the laws of emotional gravity did not apply to them. They treated lust like an unlimited credit card, charging bodies, hearts, and souls to buy brief moments of superiority. But the bill has finally come due, and the cost is far steeper than they ever expected. Today we're breaking down why the free sex and endless conquests have turned them into some of the most miserable beings alive. You remember them in their prime. When they entered a room, the atmosphere shifted. They were the hunters, the seducers, the ones who could take anyone they wanted with a single look. They used this sexual leverage to weaponize your insecurity, making you feel fortunate just to be chosen. They forced you to compete for their attention, triangulating you with strangers, exes, and even imagined rivals. They convinced you their wandering eye was proof of their high value. But time is the great equalizer, and it strips the narcissist of their only shield, their looks. Picture someone whose entire identity is built on being desired. Now, imagine that person becoming invisible. This is the hell of the aging narcissist. They walk down the street and no heads turn. They smile at a stranger and receive not flirtation, but a courteous nod reserved for the elderly. That silence screams. It tells them their currency, their physical appeal has collapsed. They're living through an ego stock market crash with no reserve fund of character to fall back on. The suffering they feel is precise and excruciating. It's the agony of an addict who can no longer find a vein. Their true addiction was never sex. It was validation through conquest. Sex was only the delivery system. Now that the system is broken, rusted by age, softened by time, they're trapped in a permanent, merciless withdrawal. They grow irritable, bitter, and empty, lashing out at a world that has dared to stop applauding. They often cling to the facade, and it's painful to watch. You see them wearing clothes 3 decades too young, dyeing their hair until it resembles shoe polish, using slang that sounds absurd coming from their mouths. They're desperately signaling, I'm still relevant. But the world sees a parody. The cool guy has become the creepy old man. The femme fatale has become the desperate matriarch. They've turned into the very figures they once mocked. The cost of lust is isolation because they treated every interaction as a transaction. What can your body do for my ego? They never built real intimacy. Their phone holds hundreds of contacts, yet not one person who knows their soul. When illness strikes, who shows up? The one-night stands are gone. The affair partners have moved on. They're left alone in a house full of mirrors and forced to stare at the decay of the only thing they ever truly loved themselves. You might ask whether they reflect on their actions. Do they regret the betrayals? The families they destroyed? The answer is chilling. No, they regret aging. They regret that the game has ended. Their misery isn't born of conscience. It's born of entitlement. They believed they were owed eternal youth and endless admiration. Aging isn't biology to them, it's an injustice imposed by a cruel universe. In their mind, they are victims of time. This is where the rage ignites. The aging narcissist becomes a cauldron of simmering anger. They resent the young for possessing what they lost. They resent their partners if they haven't discarded them for witnessing the decline. They despise themselves, though they'll never admit it. This venom leaks into every interaction. They become the bitter, critical, impossible elder who poisons every family gathering. They want everyone else to suffer too, not because misery loves company, but because the narcissist demands it. Survivors often ask, are they happier with the new supply? Let me be clear. If they manage to secure new supply in their twilight years, it's a relationship built on coercion and transaction. They're paying for it literally or symbolically. They repurchasing companionship because they can no longer attract it naturally, and they resent every moment of it. Paying for what once came free reminds them daily of their powerlessness. We're about to dissect the anatomy of this collapse, the biological panic, the social self-destruction, and the final lonely outcome of a life lived without love. You don't need to see this to pity them, but to recognize that justice has already been delivered. You didn't need revenge. You only needed time. The price of their lust was their soul. And now life's collection agency has arrived to repossess the house. To grasp their torment, you must understand the somatic mindset. For this type of narcissist, the body is God. It's their temple, their weapon, their vault. They poured everything into the surface, neglecting intellect, empathy, and inner growth to worship abs, hair, and sexual dominance. When age arrives, its biological bankruptcy. Their assets are frozen. They're left with a depreciating body that demands increasing maintenance for shrinking returns. This creates a profound reverse body dysmorphia. They refuse reality. In the mirror, they hallucinate their Ursa-year-old self, but outside, the world treats them like a Lissers-or Tissers-year-old, and it fractures the psyches. They cannot reconcile their inner image of a god with the external truth of a mortal, aging human. They feel like a dethroned king tossed into the gutter, still wearing an imaginary crown. Their libido often stays high, and that's part of the punishment. The biological hunger for sex remains intact, but the ability to secure high-quality supply disappears. This is a torment uniquely tailored to them. They are starving. At a banquet where they no longer permitted to eat. That frustration mutates into perversion and reckless behavior. They drift into darker corners of the internet, paid encounters, or inappropriate advances toward disturbingly young targets, anything to spark the illusion of their former power. Okay, we also have to examine the dopamine collapse. For years, the chase delivered massive dopamine spikes. The secrecy, the deception, the seduction, it was a chemical rush. Now the chase is over, and their brain exists in a chronic dopamine deficit. They slip into anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from ordinary life. A sunset means nothing. A grandchild's laughter means nothing. A good meal means nothing. Without sexual validation, they feel lifeless. The objectification they imposed on others turns inward. They trained themselves to believe human worth is purely physical. Now, by their own logic, they are worthless. They judge themselves by the same ruthless, shallow standards they once used on you. They despise their wrinkles. They're repulsed by their fragility. They're trapped in a cage with their cruelest critic, their own internalized superficiality. This explains the frantic medical interventions, plastic surgery, hair transplants, endless supplements. They're trying to repair the Titanic with chewing gum, The result is uncanny and desperate. It broadcasts one thing clearly: they are terrified of death. A psychologically healthy adult accepts aging with dignity. A narcissist wages war on it with a scalpel, carving insecurity into their own body for everyone to witness. The emptiness becomes impossible to hide. In youth, the noise of their sex life drowned out the echo of their hollowness. There was always a message to answer, a date to arrange, a lie to maintain. Now the noise is gone. The silence exposes that no one is home. They have no hobbies, because hobbies require genuine interest. They have no wisdom, because wisdom demands self-reflection. They are unbearably bored by their own presence. Their relationship with time turns hostile. They live entirely in the past. They become narrators of glory days, cornering anyone who will listen to inflated stories of sexual exploits from decades ago. It's pitiful. They're trying to prove they mattered because they know they don't now. They're ghosts haunting their own history, refusing to exist in the fear of irrelevance is their deepest terror. To a narcissist, being hated is preferable to being ignored, but aging delivers indifference. Society doesn't rage at the elderly, it overlooks them. That indifference feels like a slow execution. So they provoke attention however they can. Fake illnesses, family chaos, constant conflict. Negative attention becomes the last supply they can extract. This chapter proves their lifestyle was a Ponzi scheme. They borrowed happiness from the future to fund pleasure in the past. Now the scheme has collapsed. There are no new investors. The vault is empty. They're left holding dust, confused about why no one is buying what they're selling. The real turning point comes when they shift from being dangerous to being a nuisance. Once they could devastate hearts. Now they merely irritate. The power dynamic flips. They aren't discarding people anymore. Society is discarding them. The waiter overlooks them. The cashier rushes them. Potential partners swipe past without hesitation. They become background noise. This triggers a narcissistic injury that never heals. They lash out. They grow litigious, hostile, demanding. They scream at service workers. They fire off angry letters and complaints. They retrying to assert dominance in a world that no longer fears them. They resemble a toothless lion roaring at the wind, loud, not lethal. The era of free sex ends. The pay-to-play era begins. This is deeply humiliating. They realize intimacy now requires a financial transaction. Whether it's dating someone clearly interested only in their pension or outright hiring companionship, the exchange is unmistakable. They can't pretend it's desire or love. It's commerce, and they're the fool in the deal. This is when they start hoovering the graveyard. They contact you the ex from 10 or 20 years ago. The thinking of you text appears. They're not thinking of you. They're scanning a list of former victims, searching for anyone who hasn't blocked them. They hope you're lonely or nostalgic enough to reopen the door. When you don't respond, it devastates them. It confirms their erasure. They also become prime targets for romance scams. The hunter becomes prey. Desperate for validation, they believe the online Arthur War-year-old who claims to love them. They want the fantasy so badly they ignore every warning sign. They lose retirement savings to bots and scammers, all because their ego couldn't accept that youth and beauty don't desire a bitter narcissist. Their envy of the young mutates into sabotage. If they have children, they begin competing with them. A narcissistic mother may dress like her daughter or flirt with her daughter's partner. A narcissistic father may belittle his son's achievements. It's grotesque. They cannot tolerate the torch being passed. If they can't carry it, they want to snuff it out. They would rather burn their legacy than accept they are no longer the center of attention. The secret life becomes increasingly difficult to conceal. As cognition declines, carelessness sets in. Phones are left unlocked. Browsing histories aren't erased. The depravity of their inner world is exposed to family members. The shame of this revelation is crushing. The dignified elder facade collapses, revealing the addicted pervert beneath. They lose what they crave most respect. They shift into resource guarding because charm no longer works. Money becomes their weapon. They threaten disinheritance. They hold assets over their children's heads. If you don't come see me, you get nothing. It's the final desperate grasp for control. They know your presence isn't voluntary, so it must be purchased. The grumpy tyrant identity hardens. They understand they can't be loved, so they choose to be feared or at least dreaded. Every holiday is poisoned. The food is wrong. The gifts are insulting. The conversation is stupid. They drain the air from the room. This is defensive. If they reject everything first, you can't reject them. They fire everyone preemptively before they can be dismissed. Okay. The breaking point arrives when they realize they are alone in a crowded room. Family may be present out of duty, but warmth is absent. The narcissist feels the chill. They notice the exchanged glances when they start talking. They know they are endured, not cherished. And to a narcissist, being merely tolerated is worse than death. Then comes total collapse. The empire built on seduction and deception disintegrates. The first pillar to fall is usually health. When a narcissist becomes ill, they are unbearable patients. Illness represents imperfection, a crack in their imagined invincibility. They rage against decline. They mistreat nurses, dismiss doctors, and demand special exceptions that don't exist. Mortality terrifies them because they lack any spiritual grounding. Their social circle evaporates. Those people were never real friends, just drinking companions, accomplices, or shallow admirers. They're gone now. Dead, moved on, or exhausted by the chaos. The narcissist has no loyal allies because they were never loyal themselves. They sit in silence, staring at a phone that never rings. Financial collapse often follows the cost of lust. A lifetime of spending of cost. Lifesteem follows the cost of lust. A lifetime of spending on image affairs, divorces, and indulgence left no preparation for old age. They assumed there would always be someone to live off. Now they face fixed income and unsustainable habits. The poverty is only monetary. It's a poverty of dignity. They must ask for help, and it humiliates them. They become the worst kind of energy vampire. If they corner a listener, a caregiver, neighbor, or trapped relative, they talk endlessly about themselves. They drain everyone nearby. Complaining, gossiping, rewriting history. They need noise to prove they still exist. People begin avoiding them. Neighbors duck aside when they see them coming. Their smear campaigns lose all force. Once, they could destroy reputations. Now, no one pays attention to a bitter elder ranting about an ex from decades ago. Their cruelty looks sad, not scary. Credibility is gone. The audience sees a wounded, angry person, and the lies no longer land. The weapon that once controlled you has rusted shut. They are haunted by what-ifs, but only selfish ones. Not what if I had been kinder, but what if I'd chosen the richer partner? What if I hadn't been caught? They obsess over. They replay divorces in their mind, convinced they were robbed, never recognizing they were the thief. And eventually, the discard happens to them. The final discard is death. But before that comes abandonment by family. Adult children go no contact. Grandchildren are kept away. The narcissist is left in a facility or a lonely apartment. This isn't cruelty, it's survival by those who escaped. The narcissist calls it abandonment, refusing to acknowledge the decades of harm that led here. Isolation curdles into paranoia. Alone and enraged, they begin to believe the entire world is conspiring against them. They begin to believe the nurses are stealing from them. They convince themselves their children are waiting for them to die. After a lifetime of projecting malice onto everyone else, they now assume malice is aimed back at them. They live barricaded inside a fortress of fear. The mask is gone. In the final stage, whatever charm once existed is completely eroded. What remains is the raw, unfiltered disorder. The cruelty is exposed. The selfishness is total. There is no effort left to conceal who they are. They exist as pure id, screaming, "I want," into the void. It is grotesque to witness and confirms what everyone eventually sees. There was never a good side, only a convincing disguise. The collapse ends with them imprisoned inside their own mind. They are trapped with memories of a life squandered on shallow pursuits. There are no warm recollections of connection, only trophies of conquest. And conquests don't keep you warm when the darkness closes in. This is the final truth. The narcissist's life was a terrible investment. They wagered everything on the physical, the temporary, the superficial. They short-sold their soul for quick returns of pleasure. Now, the market has corrected. You, the survivor, may feel you lost years to them, but look at where you stand. Now you are growing, you are healing. You possess depth. They are stagnant, decomposing in shallow water. This is poetic justice. You didn't. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need exposure. Life exposed them. Their punishment is being themselves. Their punishment is waking up daily in a body they resent, with a mind incapable of love, inside a house echoing with emptiness. That sentence is harsher than anything you could have delivered. You were the supply that escaped. Whether you left or were discarded and rebuilt, you got off the Titanic. Had you stayed, you would now be the nursemaid, the punching bag, the target of their venom. You didn't just dodge a bullet, you survived surgery. The breakup pain was the pain of removing a tumor. You are cancer-free. Radical acceptance is your power. Accept that they are miserable. Accept that they will not change. Accept that their happiness online is theater content people don't perform. Miserable people do. Don't envy the performance. Pity the backstage reality. Don't fall for pity hoobers. If they resurface now, playing the fragile elder, remember the wolf. The wolf may have lost its teeth, but it hasn't lost its nature. Put your hand in the cage, and it will still try to bite. Keep the door locked. Your empathy belongs to those who deserve it, not to parasites who drained you. Reframe the cost. The price they paid for lust was everything that mattered. They purchased sex and forfeited love. They bought attention and lost respect. They collected moments and sacrificed a lifetime. You now have the chance to build what they discarded. You can create connection, peace, and legacy. You are the wealthy one. Your aging will be graceful because you have a soul. You will mature into wisdom. Your wrinkles will be maps of a life lived authentically, not behind masks. You will be surrounded by people who love your heart, not your usefulness. The narcissist fades. The empath evolves. Release the need for an apology. You will never receive one. Apologies require conscience. Give yourself closure by accepting the truth. They already live in their own private hell. You don't need to visit it. You have your own heaven to build. Look away from the wreckage. Don't look back. There is nothing there but dust and echoes. You survived the storm. You learned the hidden truth. You are stronger, wiser, and free. The curse is theirs. The future is yours. The price of lust is a life that ends at zero. The narcissist is bankrupt by every measure. But you are infinite. You are real. You are whole. Close the book on their story and begin writing the beautiful chapters of your own. Stay strong. Stay no contact. And keep walking toward the light.